Now, you know, if you hear me at the start of the show as the very first voice, I don't really do too many of these little pieces. So it's going to be around flare strips, and it's going to be a little fact that you might not have known. We've talked about it on previous shows. Loads and loads of horses at 5-star level, actually across the whole sport, to be honest. But 5-star is probably one of the levels that we see most often. And you're looking at 85, 90% of horses at Kentucky this year and the last few years, and Badminton this year and the last few years. You're looking at those horses all wearing a flare strip as they go across country. And actually, lots of show jumpers as well. So Explosion wore one in Tokyo. But as we're working with flare, they said, I mean, it's one thing for people to have it. We would really love if people understood all of the science behind it. And can we get out a couple of simple, short pieces which allow us to give some of the facts around it? So it's been out in the market for 20 years. It's had huge success. We've talked about the amount of people that use it, but equally, it's not just kind of marketing stats. It's clinical study. I think there's 8 clinical trials now, or clinical studies, which have all shown the benefits of this. But my little fact for you today, Rosie, and I just think this, to be honest, I think this is so cool. So breathing and stride length, Rosie, they're all linked. Now,
that I did know.
That you did know, okay, right? Because I'm never sure at which point people are going to be like, come on, we knew that. Okay, well, breathing and stride are linked. So a horse takes a breath with every stride. Now, when you start going faster than a hand gallop, horses increase their speed. And now here we go, Rosie. This is the bit where I was like looking open mouth with excitement, when I guess a lot of other people might be thinking, that's obvious. But horses don't get faster by moving their legs faster. They actually they increase their stride length. That's how you get faster. When you're going beyond the gallop, they actually increase stride length. Now, we've said that a single breath with each stride, but when a horse is lengthening a stride, they're taking longer, deeper breaths. So they're filling their lungs with more air. So if you're struggling or you're finding it more difficult to get air in and out, horses tend to or can shorten their stride and get tireder. So if you're able to have a horse that is, I suppose you're maximizing the ease at which a horse is able to get as much air in as possible, so you can do that easily. It's really helpful, of course, for stride lengthening. So, speed, I suppose, in that case. And equally, more importantly, I guess, for cross-country, stride adjustability. So being able to react and stay in a rhythm as those combination and questions come. So that is one of the reasons why people will use flare strips.
I love that. That's so cool, because you always just think faster means, moving your legs faster. But I love it. Just a longer stride.
Yeah, longer stride and breath. Do you remember my fact from the first show? When they're exercising, they have to breathe through their nose. So it's like a maze. If, they need as much air as they can, how do they get it? Get it through their nose. Help them on the nose. There.
I like it. It's very,
that's not their motto, help them on the nose. I've just used that as my own, but it's true. That's where they need the help when they're exercising. Nasal passages, airways, make it easy. I'll just keep giving you these taglines, Rosie. You can cut me off at the point where you're ready.
Welcome, listeners, to the Luhmühlen review show. And as with the preview show, our European 5-star coverage this year powered by flare strips. My goodness me, I feel like we all got strapped into a roller coaster over the weekend in both the 5-star and the 4-star, and went through so many twists and turns. We had everything from epic storms to shocks to drama to brilliance, and we've sort of come out the other side a little bit windswept, needing to lie down in a darkened room for a few days, I think, perhaps. Catherine Austin is with me. Catherine, first of all, sum up, if you can, your kind of immediate reaction, because there was a lot. There was a lot
immediate reaction, I think, is in that rather sort of, English public school way, is gosh, I think it was an amazing weekend. I mean, isn't it nice to know that rain's somewhere else that isn't Britain? It isn't just us. But it was thrilling sport, really exciting sport. All sorts of interesting things happened. And as is the way with sport, some of them are very good and some of them aren't so good. And the effects of them, some of them could be pretty intense. You know, as we know, we're in a week in which we are imagining that the British team selection is going to be announced. So talk about on the edge of your seats. I loved it. It is really exciting. It's an event I really like anyway. It's we love 5-star eventing. It's the top level of the sport. But particularly in an Olympic year, the 4-star shorts this year have given us so much as well. Top combinations, not just very much, yes, the British riders with under a lot of pressure were riding very well there, but lots of other countries, this was very important too. So I rambled on for ages, but it was, it was a proper wow weekend.
Gosh, I feel like, so Toby's latest expression, for anybody that doesn't know, Toby is my 5-year-old. His latest expression is, oh my word. And he says that on everything, but he comes out with it in really good context. He goes, oh my word. And I feel like that sums up Luhmühlen. Let's start with the 5-star. We are going to have the newly crowned 5-star champion of Luhmühlen on the show in a very short while. So we're going to hear from the lady herself, Lara de Liedekerke-Meier, who has just become Belgium's first ever 5-star winner. I wanted to start there, Catherine, because whatever country you are from, whatever nationality you are, whatever, sort of rider you support, you would have to have a heart of stone, I think, not to be touched by the emotion that came out of her winning the 5-star this weekend. And I guess for me, the really, really clear love that she has for her horse.
Yes, she's a great rider. She's a very popular rider, very nice lady, riding a lot of horses at the moment very well. Homebred horses, as a lot of people will know. Lara's home is Arville, which has, been a big event on the European stage, for a long time. And she's a mother. She's had, time off to have children. And I think this is, as you say, it's a great result. She obviously loves her horse, but she's, this isn't a pony patting story. She's a great competitor, but she's won on a homebred horse, and she rode the horse's dam as well. There's so many nice strands of what we love about eventing.
There are, and actually, I had a lot of messages from people that I think perhaps didn't know a huge amount about sort of her story and kind of her journey over the last few years until we had her on the podcast back in the kind of beginning of April. And actually, there's a lot of people that have kind of become invested in her journey even just recently. She had a really, really tough time over the last couple of years. She fell off at the first of the World Championships. Literally everything she did just didn't quite go to plan. And sometimes that is the way with horses. And it's when things don't go to plan, you have to kind of dig into those reserves of resilience that actually I think we see the true colours of some of the sport's great athletes. And she was brilliant. And she I think for me stood out in all 3 phases. I want to ask actually, because we're going to talk to Lara and get more of an insight from her on her competition. So let's cover a few of the others. Ros Cantor, Islot DHI were kind of the standout performers. They were massive favourites on the prediction centre. They went into the final day with 2 fences and a little bit of time in hand. I think they could afford to be 3 seconds over the time, not 4. And 2 rails in hand. The horse only ever had something like 1 rail down his first 2-star like 5 years ago or something. And it just goes to show that actually things can go wrong. 2 rails and 4 seconds over the time, it cost her the win.
Totally. And as you say, these things happen. She will be delighted that, unlike at badminton, that he did, go very well cross country. He's a spooky, difficult horse, and he may well remain a spooky, difficult horse. Tricky, isn't it? Because when you've got one that could win everything, you're always putting yourself up to be shot at. And that's a position of huge privilege, to be in the lead regularly at top competitions. I mean, people notice when it goes wrong far more often, and we've had this with various riders over the years. But yeah, to lose it by 1 second of time in a phase that you would have imagined that he would have nailed is hard luck for Ros, and she will mind, obviously.
She will mind, but she, I think, still again showed her form. We're going to talk about the kind of the Olympic slots a little bit later on, and actually she's still getting good results at the top end of a 5-star, as were a couple of her compatriots in Yaz Ingham and Tom McEwen. Tom McEwen, CHF Coolizer, who finished second. I love this mare, and she had first draw, and so she was first down the centre line, which is never an easy thing to do. She went out in some pretty tough conditions in the cross country when the rain had really started. Nobody knew how it was going to ride.
And you can't regret, if Tom had been marginally faster cross country on her, he would have won. There's a lot, you can play the whataboutery game, as long as you like. But terrific to see this lovely, exciting mare. And she's not an easy one either. How annoying to, kick the stable door at Badminton or the wall or whatever it was and miss that when you're already there. But great compensation to finish second at a 5-star. You've always loved her. She's cool and interesting, isn't it? First and second mares. I know we're sort of 15 years on, but 15 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. And it's terrific that the mares are now as regularly successful and as valued at the top end of the sport as they are.
Did somebody told me actually, I think I saw it in the Discord group, that a mare has won each of the 5 stars this year, because obviously Cooley Rosalind won Kentucky, Greenacre Special Cavalier won Badminton, and then I think David Middleton's horse that won Adelaide as a mare as well. Nobody has led. I think nobody's even been in the top 2 going into the show jumping. They've all come from third or below. It's been an interesting year from that perspective. Yaz Ingham, Ray DJ. I have to say, Yaz for me showed she is an unbelievably classy competitor, but she has a class about her. Because I think it is fair to say she would have been a little bit disappointed with her first phase score. And she just got her head down, down to the job in hand, and went and delivered an absolutely brilliant performance. I think she was 2 people finished on their dressage score, maybe. Alice Casburn and Topspin being the other combination. But actually, she pulled herself up from 28th after dressage with a 36.9, which she would be disappointed with, a 36.9. Yes. I think we can safely say that. And finished on that score, got herself back on the podium.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all you can do after the first phase hasn't worked out. Terrific cross-country round. Yes, it's interesting. Very different horse to, Banzai de Loire. We'll talk about in the 4-star short. But yes, she rode very well, very neatly, and very competitively. And as you mentioned, Alice Casburn and Topspin, who have been very popular in the last couple of years in Britain, and their spring hasn't worked out. Badminton didn't go right for them. So I was very pleased to see them back on form, finishing on their dressage score in 5th. And I hope that, I'd hope that Yaz, and I'd hope we'd see quite a few of these at Burghley. I'd hope that we'd see CHF Coolizer, possibly Rahi DJ, is a lot. I don't know. And Topspin at Burghley. And let's actually, while we're talking about the successful Brits in this class, we have to mention Kirsty Chabert, 6th on opposition Heraldic Girl as well. Again, not a dressage mark that would particularly thrill them or anybody else in 36.7, but 4.8 time felts, and they whizzed up the order from 26th to then 8th after cross country and jumped a clear round for 6th place in a 5-star.
She's such a little pocket rocket. She's so cool.
She's cool, isn't she?
Yeah, really fun. And actually, there were 6 clear rounds in the show jumping on the final day. 5 of them came from Brits. The other came courtesy of Lara de Liedekerke-Meier and Uni Darville. Couple of other really quick mentions. Jennifer Coonley and Polly Blue Eyes and Sammy Davis Jr., 2 inside the top 10 for her 5-star debut. Brilliant performance. Yes, she'll be frustrated with a couple of rails down that dropped her down the order with Polly Blue Eyes. She was second going into the jumping, but even so, 2 in the top 10, fantastic. David Doel, Galileo New Mode, 2. Like she's really young. And fair play having 2 at a 5-star. David Doel, Galileo New Mode, another 5-star top 10 finish, which absolutely brilliant. But that final day clear round, unfortunately, deserted them. Which,
but what might have been, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
10 penalties in the show jumping definitely wasn't what they went there to do. Yeah, another super cross-country round. But even though they finished 9th, you think their spring hasn't quite worked out how they wanted it to, sadly.
Yeah.
Down the order, but in 21st, Laura Collis and the lovely grey mare Hester. Hester did not enjoy her first experience of 5-star at Badminton, but was much, much better here. And had a run out cross country, but I think Laura will be relieved and pleased that the mare has proved that she is a 5-star horse anyway.
She has such a cool expression on her face, this mare. When you watch her show jumping on the final day, she just looks like she tries so hard and has a real sort of smile, a lovely, intelligent look. 2 other Brits I'm going to shout out for before we go on to the 4-star. Caroline Harris and D-Day, who were great. They finished just outside the top 10. They were 11th, and Alex Bragardeo Premier, actually good to see him with another horse. Obviously had that great result with Quindiva at Badminton, but good to see them finishing inside the top 15 too. So, right, now, before we go into the 4-star, Catherine, we're just going to take a break and we're going to go and hear from the newest member of the 5-Star Winners Club. Lara de Liedekerke-Meier, Luhmühlen 5-star winner. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. That sounds unreal, unbelievable. Amazing.
Oh, huge congratulations from us all. So exciting. First of all, let's go back to the beginning, because obviously very, very exciting week. But actually, from the very start of the week, everything seemed to sort of go to plan. So take us back to the dressage, first of all.
First of all, I needed to choose which one I'm going to ride in the 5-star, because the schedule only allowed me to ride 3 horses in the entire show. So the 4 horses were feeling in great form, and we were not sure, Kai and me, of taking Uni or Hermione. So apparently already there, all the stars aligned in the sky for us. Apparently I already did a good choice then. And then afterwards we arrived and we were feeling happy and good that everything was working our way. In the dressage, she's not a world beater. She's not the most awesome mover, but she always tries really, really hard. She is difficult for the walk. Not that she gets nervous or something, but she gets easily impatient. She finds the walk really boring. And then, but other than the last couple of meters in walk going into canter, the flying change could have been a bit more fluent, a bit more sitting and all that, but I was delighted how hard she tried for me to keep her composure, to stay patient, to enjoy being in the arena. Already that was the first victory for me.
One of my favourite things throughout, I think, this whole week has actually been the pictures that have come out of, mostly I think taken by Tilly Berrant, but there were some brilliant ones actually after your dressage, where you could just see how thrilled you were with her in that first phase. It set you up well for the cross country. So what did you make of Mike Etherington-Smith's track, and actually how did it ride?
First of all, to come back to dressage, it's a team effort, and my grooms worked so well with her to try to have everything perfect, that she was happy and everything. And like you say, Tilly, Libby, and all these amazing photographers already catch up those crazy emotions which started already on Thursday. Then the course was long, 11.7. Was quite something already. The going was perfect. I thought I didn't walk it for a couple of years because I didn't have to ride a 5-star. I always watched it, but it's never the same when you watch it and you have to ride it. I thought the intensity in the beginning was quite there. We had 5 ABC, 6 AB, 7 ABC, then the coffin, then the Luhmühlen water, and I all the time felt that it was never one big complex, but it was a lot of all the time asking some different kind of questions, and not a lot of easy fence when you can just give one time a breeze to the horse, or just give one time a hedge or something. It was a table you had to angle, or a nest on top of a mount, or a bit open ditch, it just felt like it wasn't maybe the biggest track, but it was all the time a question. And a lot of questions on my side, because Buccolo was 10 minutes, so 1 minute less. So just wanted to go out there and just try to give her the best ride I could. Then for sure, when I crossed the finish line and I see I have 10 seconds, I was really frustrated. I was really upset, because I think on such a 10-minute track, you can for sure every minute catch up a second, but it was what it was. And And I think all the stars aligned my way because I was lucky enough not to have so much rain. Like, I think about the moment I crossed the finish line, the skies opened. It was like there was so much water, and yeah, it was incredible the amount of water we got in such a short time, which makes our sport so special, that we have to ride within what the environment and within what the weather conditions are giving us.
The weather was all over the place in the Luhmühlen. I think there were all 4 seasons over the weekend. So Saturday night, after the kind of slight frustration, which I think just goes to show what an actual, fierce competitor you are, because it's always about looking at those kind of marginal gains and the little bits that might have got away rather than everything that did go right. You're in third overnight at your first 5-star, I think in 7 years. It was 2017 that you last did a 5-star. When that sunk in and you kind of thought, actually, I'm in a podium position here, how did that feel? And did you feel any pressure going into Sunday?
It felt really special. I said at the press conference, I was so surprised to be there. There was like some really big names on the entry list, and like Tom and Yaz, and it was a bit like Laura. They all had like good horses, and I was a bit surprised sitting there at the press conference. Obviously there I was still a little upset about my 10 seconds, but it was less. And then the Sunday morning, the horse felt really good, easy for the horse inspection, but I didn't, sometimes you want to calculate a little bit, if I do this and that, what's going to happen. And when I watched on the result sheet, I was more thinking, if I have one down, I'm just going to be placed. That's what you wanted. It's okay. Don't try to think too hard on yourself. She's a good jumper, but it's okay if you have one down. And then we walked the course, and I thought it was quite a big course. And when I watched the first 10 and the first 2 already, they had 10-second time fault. And it's really a nightmare for me because I'm so slow to ride in jumping. And I thought, we're so all close together. It's so tight. And then I tried just to sit on my horse. She jumped really, really good. But the moment I heard like Alice jumped clear, Yes jumped clear, Tom jumped clear, it was first opposition, I think, Kirsty Schaber, and I was just like, I said to Kai, maybe let's go for a clear round, and I shouldn't overthink this time fault. And then the jumping trainer just jumped in the conversation and said, you just jump clear round and you turn as tight as you can. It's gonna be fine. Just ride your 8 strides to the last. And in a way, when he said that, I just went into a tunnel and I just tried to do what they asked me to do. And she felt so available, and she was jumping, really, really neat and careful. And again, like it was my day yesterday. Everything just all came together at this weekend, and it was amazing.
The next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, we should say. So you've jumped your clear round. You guaranteed a podium. Talk us through what happened next.
When I crossed the finish line and I watched the board and I saw I was inside the time, I think that's why I somehow make a lap of honor. It was an own victory for myself. I was like so impressed that I managed to do that. I'm not such a self-confident person, and it was like you kept everything together, you did it, and then like the public just went wild, and that was like, it was a victory. It was just enough. I was third. It was good. I didn't ask for anything else. And it's not that you wish any harm to the next one coming in the arena. And then it was enough. I was happy. It was, the horse jumped good. I did my job. And then we checked with the steward, the boots, the beats and everything. We started speaking. And then someone says to me, you're second. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. And I jumped back on the horse to just give her a little trot. And then I saw horse going in the arena, and this horse is incredible. It's a fantastic jumper, and being second behind horse is great. It's fantastic. And then I go down. We hug all of each other. We're so happy and all that. And then Kai arrived, and he make his funny position there, and he's silent, and I see on his face that something is special, but I just thought he's gonna hug me because I'm second. Like, it was still second, was just like incredible. We would have never expected it. And then he started to hug me, and then I said, what is it? And then he said, you just won it. And then I watched him, and then I watched all the people, and all the Belgians arrive and jump on me, and then I asked the president of my federation, can I please see the results. I need to see the result. I couldn't believe it. It was just, it was. And to be fair, it's still Rechenstell page is still open, and I still sometimes have a look on it. It's so hard to believe, and like dreams do come true.
I've got goosebumps just listening to you recount that. I don't think I would have been the only one that had been floods of tears, actually, as kind of everything all unfolded, because you can see how much it means to you and Kai and to the whole team. What does this mean to Belgian eventing? The first 5-star victory for Belgium.
I think it means a lot. I got so many messages by so many people of the eventing community that we are just like overwhelmed. But also by jumping Belgian riders, and like so many people, like apparently, I mean, I know it means a lot, for sure. I know I'm doing this sport for so long, but I don't think I realized already today how big is it. And I think for Belgium, it's a little bit of cherry on the cake. I mean, Kai is doing such a great job, pushing the boundaries, trying all the time to do more and better. Okay, I still told him you didn't want me to do 5-star, and I wanted. So. I mean, I think it means a lot, but I don't think I can wait how much it means already.
It is absolutely extraordinary. Uni is home safely. Is she all okay? Does she realise what she's managed to do?
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, she realized that she has extra attention, a lot of carrots. My children bringing carrots, my parents bringing carrots, some people coming from nowhere. I think she realized she is like quite spoiled. I think she can't get enough. She's home. She went in the field. Her legs look fantastic. Her body looks great. I mean, I'm dreaming to do now more. I will first like give her a proper break now, and then maybe going again for 5-star. I don't know. I first need really to swallow all that and think that in, and then I can make plans.
What next in terms of, obviously the Olympic Games are pretty much on the horizon. Has this altered kind of what might have been the plan or first pick course for you for the Games?
Normally Uni was plan D. So she was never really in the race. Okay, now for sure, Kai and me, we watch each other and we don't say much because, okay, for sure, we don't want to influence each other. And I think it's not right to keep the training now on her direction Paris. I will give her now 2 weeks off, and if the other horses maybe are feeling less good and she's still feeling great, why not? But I would say she wouldn't be my first choice. I would still stick on Origi or Ducati at the moment. I think Origi had a silly mistake, but it was more because I was more focused on the 5-star and I didn't ride the line well, and I pulled one stride too many. And he has been amazing the full year, and Ducati has been again like 5th in Kronenberg and it's just behind GL Dublin and Classic from Kirsty Chabert, so it was really, really good. And then was again second behind Christophe Waller in Barobovko, so they are both feeling really great. Normally I'm gonna take Ducati in Aachen first, and then we can make a plan. There's still Hermione around the corner, so I'm still feeling pretty safe at the moment. So hard to say today which one I'm gonna take. I think I'm gonna keep training them hard and well, not hard, but I mean really like trying to fine tune everything, and I hope I will be as clever as I was last Monday to pick up the right one.
I was going to say it's a good problem to have is choices and options. If we're talking about the 5-star dream kind of being reignited and actually your love of 5-star is very much kind of flourishing again, is there a 5-star that you would particularly like to target?
Yesterday when Bergley shared my picture, I was like, I'm scared to ride this course, but now I just won one, so maybe I would be able to do it. Or we were thinking, Kai and me, about Maryland as well. I may be gonna target one again by the fall. I'm just not sure yet. I think I just need to come back to Planet Earth, and then really like be clear in my head and clear in my ideas, and then also which horse where. And I think when I know which one I'm going to take to Olympics, obviously I hope the others will stay fit, and then maybe Hermione goes Berkeley and Uni goes Meilen. No, I don't know. I did do Po already, so I'm not sure it would be the first choice, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I'm still living the dream now that I don't want to come back too soon to reality, but I will have soon to make a plan, and then I'm gonna decide. But today I don't know.
Look, it's the most incredible week. A brilliant result for you, Lara. I'm so thrilled for you. I know plenty of our listeners are as well. Congratulations. I hope the next couple of weeks in preparation all go well for the Olympics. And yes, enjoy the moment. Give Uni lots and lots of carrots and cuddles from us.
Thank you very, very much, Nicole. Thank you.
I just love Lara de Liedekerke-Meier. I think she is very honest, very open, and you just can't help but be touched by it, to be honest. Brilliant result for her and the team, and delighted for her and Kai. Right, the 4-star Catherine, let's unpick it from the beginning, because where do we even start with this? Do we start with the Michael Young?
Yes, I think we start with Mickey Young. Fisher Chipmunk is one of the best known horses in the sport. Really interesting. This horse is so talented, but gosh, the competitions that he hasn't won by minor little things happening over the years is quite a list. And again, an impeccable dressage for 22.9, and obviously the leader 3.2 time penalties across country, which was good enough to keep them in the lead. But a fence down at 10C towards the end of the course was not enough to keep them in the lead, and they finished third. He was fourth on a younger horse, Kilcandra Ocean Power Irish bred horse. And I was just thinking to myself, I wonder if you were the German selectors, obviously that is a position I am never going to find myself in. I wonder whether you'd think about taking the other horse and taking a horse on the
Catherine,
up.
No.
Well,
no.
Why not take
Why
a horse
would you do
on an upward trajectory rather than one who
so
might
much
be on the way down?
But you say on the way down, but actually he still finished third in a German national championships. For me, he deserved to lead the dressage. Actually, you can say what you like about,
of course he did.
But he deserved to lead the dressage. He went brilliantly cross country. Interestingly, I just had a quick count back, because we've historically always said, and particularly in the early days of his career, Chipmunk, a weak link, the show jumping phase. But actually, he's had 3 rails in his last 16, and 2 of those were in Pretoni. One of them was at Luhmühlen. Everything else has been clear. So in 14 of his last 16 internationals, he has show jumped clear. There have been the odd time penalty, I admit, but this was an uncharacteristic rail for this horse. It just so happens that we remember them because they're always the big one. You're only like Kilcandra Ocean Power. I mean, we're only like, it's only just randomly popped up at a few events. Like, it's not really done anything
I'd be interested to know whether any of the listeners agree that sometimes taking a younger horse on a sharp trajectory upwards, I know it's a risk. I know the great gods of German eventing. I'm not saying don't take Mickey Young, come on, but I wonder whether there's a conversation to be had around taking the other horse. Anyway, that's just my opinion.
To be fair, listeners, I will just put it out there. If you can hear Benny having his say in the background,
he agrees with me.
I don't know if he does agree with you. I do. Benny, come on, I birthed you. You can't be going against your mum. Right. I would just, I think that is absolutely that we wouldn't take Fisher Chipmunk. But Kilcandra Ocean Power, I would just say, is improving, but nowhere near as smart in the first phase. Won the 4-star long in Stragom last year. Actually, that's the only 4-star long it's done. It's done a good number of 3-star.
Can't improve it in 5 weeks. I do.
I know, but just doesn't float my boat. But yes, but I would say he still finished in third.
Leader, and the Brits,
you are.
The Brits dressage didn't entirely work out the way they wanted it to. I mean, Laura Collett was second on the Great London 52 after dressage. Yasmin Ingham, let's reverse. Yasmin Ingham won the 4-star short, everyone, by the way. We should say that on Banzai de Loire in a very important week. But her 28.1 for 7th place in the dressage wasn't the mark she was aiming for. Let's put it like that.
I think she'd have been really, really disappointed with that. And it felt like a week where, Laura Collett, London 52, Tom McEwen, JL Dublin, Yazing and Banzai Deloitte, all fighting it out in the mix for those places. And they go to Luhmühlen, they put themselves up against each other. And I think that's very brave, and I think it's very important. And they really went kind of all guns blazing, and they would have felt, I mean, Laura would have been happiest of the three after dressage for sure. Yaz left marks in the arena, but was ahead of Tom, who was inside the top 10, but a couple of places back. I felt JL Dublin's test, while not as good as he can do, he had no major mistakes. Both Laura and Yaz had mistakes.
Yeah, I think he was slightly unlucky with that mark. But then cross-country wise, and all three of those British riders were excellent cross-country for very similar rounds, just, you know, a second or so, a couple of seconds over the time, but really, really assured and very, very confident, very strong, very accurate, very, very good cross-country. However, the very sad news that London 52 managed to pick up a small minor injury to his coronet band meant that Laura then withdrew before show jumping. And
she was the best place. So she was in second behind Michael Young. Then it was Yazing and Banzai Deloitte. Then it was Tom McEwen, JL Dublin. Just put it into context, Catherine. This close to selection, and this close, yes, to a very, very competitive British selection. We would say that we know he's generally speaking a very good jumper. However, you actually then start to say, okay, we aren't privy to how major this injury is and what kind of the recovery time is, what work he's going to miss. But actually, that's something that's going to really play a part now, because we are weeks away from the games. If he misses some fitness work, that has a knock-on effect.
And in such a competitive potential squad, it's very hard to select a horse that the weekend before, you know, missed a phase. You could argue it so many which ways round, you know, and don't forget Kitty King won last weekend. And at home, still, you have Oliver Townend and Cooley Rosalind. And you can't also get past the fact that the aim for Tom and Yasmin this spring wasn't Luhmühlen, it was to win in Kentucky, and Cooley Rosalind won in Kentucky. And you don't, you know, the Olympics are when they are, you don't get a second go a month later. And Cooley Rosalind won that fight. She stayed on the sidelines for this one, you know, she's in great form. But so then you've got that Kentucky winner from the spring who beat these two, but then you've got Yasmin winning this weekend, Kitty winning last weekend, Laura leading until she had to withdraw, and of course JL Dublin, who's done absolutely nothing wrong, you know, either. What do you do? I don't know. You know?
Who's your team, Catherine?
Oh God, don't ask me that. You know,
go on the spot. I mean, I have literally gone through every member in the long list.
It really depends on Laura and London and the stuff that genuinely you and I don't know about. Yeah. That is so pivotal to what would be my squad that I can't really tell you, to be honest.
Oh, she's on the fence, listeners. Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to duck that one because of the Laura and London issue. If they'd finished, I'd tell you, but because they didn't, you know, I really don't know. But you know, Yasmin and Tom show jump clear on the last day. Very well done to them. This was, as we know, the German Championship, so every good German fighting it out. I mean, I enjoyed watching Julia Krajewski on her younger horse, Nicole 21, finish 9th in the end with a fence down.
She had a really unlucky rail. Oh, they've selected.
Well, have they? I thought they'd given groups of horses.
They've given groups subject to Aachen. Now their groups are that was a bit ephemeral, a bit wishy-washy. Their groups are Michael Young and Fisher Chipmunk. Interestingly, they've also got Sandra Orford, Fireman to Bats. I think both of those are in the squad if they're fit and well. Christoph Waller, Carrington S, who won Babarutko 4-star at the end of May. I thought they would be running in Luhmühlen because they didn't run. I wondered if there was something amiss. But they are still named in that three. They were individually 4th at the Europeans last year. Then in the next group, to be concentrating on the dressage. So she seems to be. She didn't run this weekend, so she seems to be out. But you know, Calvin Buckman, Jerome Robinet on the lovely black ice horse, Julia with Nickel 21. Marlene Hansen Hotep, who were 4th in Kentucky this spring. I think they've got a great chance. Like, it's brilliant. It's really good. But I think Aachen is going to be an absolute humdinger for the German team because they're going to have to But, I think they put a lot of emphasis on Aachen, don't they?
They do. It's close to the games, isn't it? How hard do you want to run horses at a very competitive competition just before the Olympics? As we've said before, you need to peak at the Olympics, not before the Olympics.
So they've got 3 weeks from Aachen to the Olympics, there or thereabouts.
But we know that, it's not like having a soft, very early season run round a 4-star short running at Aachen.
No, it's not. It's not.
Look, I'm not telling the Germans how to do their jobs. Obviously.
But then maybe I wonder if they're Fisher Chipmunks. Sandra Offel, Weimar Mats, I know last year in Aachen ran really slowly, went in a very competitive position, and then they went on to peak at the Europeans. So I think there are some combinations that won't necessarily go all out because perhaps their selection is more secure. It's more for the others.
Were ticked for New Zealand riders and things like that along the way. It'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. There was some funny things went on. Kevin McNabb had the Scuderia 1918 a best friend there, and he had a horse fall cross country.
He also had elected to withdraw Don Kidam, who is going to Stragom for the Nations Cup class. I don't know if he'll be in the Nations Cup team, but he's going to Stragom this weekend, as is Andrew Hoy, Vasily de Lassos. So the Australian team feels like there's still a few questions to be answered. Which is interesting. We didn't really get any answers on those this weekend. I would just do a shout out because we've not really said much about him apart from the fact that he was great. Tom McEwen, JL Dublin, didn't really do anything wrong this weekend. No. They didn't do anything wrong in the dressage. Yes, it wasn't as sparkling as normal, but they still, I think, deserved a few more marks. 3 seconds over cross country. Only 2 people actually made the time cross country, and then clear on the final day. So he was really, really close, and he was very, very good. But because he wasn't on top.
Point about Tom as well, just because I've just read the Horse and Hound report, is that Brookfield Quality in the 5-star was held across country because of this torrential thunderstorm, lightning, all the rest of it. And he got going again, but the horse then had a nosebleed, so Tom pulled it up. So he didn't retire because there was a problem. He retired because the horse had a little nosebleed.
Okay. I mean, I think that's being held at 5-star because of a storm is pretty brutal. The last thing you want to do is be held in a 5-star, and to be held because of a storm. And I think Tom said at one point that he actually was almost going to pull himself up because it wasn't safe to carry on.
Right.
And just restart. I mean, it was literally mad weather, listeners, completely mad weather. Just
I think
quickly,
my point was that Brookfield Quality's fine and it was bad luck, and I'm sure they'll look into it, but I'm hopeful of seeing them at Autumn 5-star, by which I mean Burley.
Burley, do you reckon Burley? I reckon Poe.
Do you? Oh, come on, come to Burley.
Oh, go to Burley. Right, yes. A couple of other big notes. Ben Massey, Figaro Fonroy. That horse was really impressive. Pulled up from 19th to finish in 7th. Only a 9-year-old for France. Looks really good. Falco was back for Tim Price. Yes. Bit off the pace than where we expected in the dressage, but did his usual characteristic, very good clear round. Importantly, ticks the qualification box here this weekend. Clark Johnstone and Menlo Park, actually. Clark has done everything that he can possibly do for an Olympic spot, which is, I mean, the New Zealand team we're going to be expecting again pretty soon. I don't think he can do much more now. And actually, Gaspar Maxud and Zaragoza had a very good run for the French.
They had a very good run for the French. And just above him in 15th was Janelle Price for New Zealand and Hirado. Lovely mare. And I don't know. That might be the one for her, possibly, Diorado mare.
I didn't realise that was a mare, but I think Janelle will. I think that is the horse that she is aiming for to go to the to the Europeans, to the Olympics, listeners. Not that we've not talked about it enough recently. I think Hirado, that is certainly the plan. That horse is her kind of preferred option. So then you've got Tim and Janelle Price, you've got Clark Johnstone, and you've got Caroline Powell from New Zealand team, and it's kind of, where's your 3 from those 4? Catherine, what a fun weekend of sport. I've been a spectator this weekend, and actually it's been really fun. I did try and watch as much of it as I possibly could, and actually I managed to get a good bit of it watched, which was always fun, because quite often it's the case that I end up not being able to, but loved it. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to see what happens now over the next few weeks.
I know. Well, the next few days, as much as anything, it's a huge. I mean, we are led to believe that the British team will announce. Well, I hope they announce the
anytime. I don't know
they're
if
not going to duck the issue and give us like 7 down from 12 or something like that, because that would be disappointing.
Can I be honest? I think we're going to end up with a shorter list of names, and I don't necessarily think we're going to know as the public the 3 and the 4 at this stage.
Well, no, I didn't expect to know the 3/4, but I would like to know the 4 rather than sort of say 7 or something like that. But that's just, no good at delayed gratification. I want to know now.
I want to know now too. Catherine, thank you. Loved Luhmühlen, loved looking back on it with you, and bring on the next few weeks.
Indeed.
Well, listeners, we hope you enjoyed the review show. Our European 5-star coverage is very kindly brought to you by Flare Strips. If you would like some more information, go and visit flarestrips.com.